Hello everyone, welcome to our synchronous class for our youth ministry. And today we are in our week number 7. So next week would be your midterm exam. And of course, ang cover ng midterm exam ay from the week 1 up to week number 7. Okay? So let's go down to our lesson this afternoon. Last time we discussed about the unbalanced approaches to youth ministry, and we were able to know six unbalanced approaches to youth ministry. Number one, do you remember the babysitting approach, the taskmaster approach, the guru approach, the counselor approach, the eclectic approach, and the one trick pony approach. So these approaches, I hope you were able to learn a lot, no, na maiwasan nating magawa. As I have said, pwede talaga natin kunin yung strengths ng bawat approaches, no? Kung meron man, then let's throw the weaknesses, then let's meet halfway, no? Kung paano ibabalance it talaga. And even in your reflection paper, I was able to read it, and you have different kinds of view, no? Bilang mga individuals, magkakaiba ang tingin nyo kung paano nag-ministry si Christ. Pero one thing that I must say is, yes, I agree that Christ really had a balanced approach sa kanyang ministry while he was here on earth. Balance in terms of, halimbawa, yung rest and ministry. So, he had balanced that. Balance siya in terms of people na ina-approach niya. No? Hindi lang niya in-encounter yung mga nasa high officials. He even go to the poorest of the poor. He doesn't only address yung spirituality, no, na need, even yung mga physical needs ng mga tao noon. So, talaga may balance talaga siya. Saka, syempre, ultimately, siya naman talaga yung role model natin when it comes to ministering to people. Okay? So much for that. Let's move on sa ating susunod na lesson na. Now that we have somehow gained tons of wisdom in starting and leading youth ministry, there might be instances that we are overwhelmed with all that we got. Hindi, yun man usually, di ba? Pag marami na tayong natututunan, it's really overwhelming. Lalo na kapag iisipin natin kung, yun nga, paano siya i-apply, no? Kaya ang sabi dito, we start asking ourselves, now, what am I supposed to do with all these learnings? No? Even with your other subjects, di ba? Dami nyo na natutunan, no? Parang minsan natanong nyo, no? Ano nang gagawin ko sa lahat ng natutunan ko ngayon? No, I have all this training, done hundreds of hours of volunteer work, but now I am overwhelmed with the enormity of the task. Lalo na yung pagsisimula talaga ng youth ministry. No? Now, that's where mental paralysis sets in. There are so many variables, so much to consider when giving direction to youth ministry. But something needs to be done. Yun naman yun. Maraming iniisip, pero meron dapat talagang ma-accomplish. It is one thing to have a philosophy of youth ministry and quite another to implement it. That is where vision, goals, and programs come into play. So this afternoon, yun ang pag-uusapan natin. Vision, goals, and programs. Nahin na natin yung vision. Now, God has a will for your group. Do you believe that? Dapat lang. Now, yes, there is a general will that it be loving, encouraging group that is passionate about Jesus. But there is a specific will for your group. I mean, sa lahat ng uri ng youth ministry, merong general will talaga si Lord na for it to be a ministry that really grows, source of love, and everything. Pero specifically, sa kanya-kanya nating mga youth ministry, may iba't ibang pangitain para sa atin ng Panginoon. Now, in the book of Revelation, Jesus evaluates the seven churches. Now, for each, Jesus points out their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and potential problems. Part of the vision process involves evaluation. Now, each group should be evaluated. So, yung mga kanya-kanya nating mga youth ministry. Ano yung strength ng mga youth ministry natin? Ano ang mga weaknesses? What resources of time, money, and volunteers are available. Okay, lalo na, yun nga, either sa nagsisimula o sa nagpapatuloy ng mga youth ministry. Kailangan from time to time talaga or year after year, talagang ine-evaluate yung mga yan. No? Part of the whole evaluation process also involves determining the levels of commitment of your students. Now, that's another important factor na dapat ine-evaluate talaga. Okay? Now, if there are no core or committed students, you should probably be focusing on evangelism at the outset. Of course, you need to know your young people. ito ba ay mga nagsisimula pa lang? So, hindi ka pwede gumamit dyan ng discipleship o ng leadership approach. So, pang evangelistic, mix na ba? So, you can mix your approach na, halong evangelistic discipleship, o ito halos ay mga ano na, mature na, discipled na, at ready na into leadership. Then yon, saka dapat tayo mag-iba ng approach. So, kailangan talaga i-evaluate talaga natin sila mabuti. An example of vision statement would include the conditions that you would want to change at the church or the youth group specifically. Okay, lalo na. Very simple lang naman ang vision. Kung ano yung nakikinita mo na gusto mong ma-develop, no? Primarily for the youth group. Pero syempre, when it comes to youth ministry, it is really important na hindi lang sariling pananaw o sariling pangitain lang natin, hindi subjective, kundi yung pangitain talaga ng Panginoon. Now, sa author natin, si Ron Powell, sabi niya dito, when Ron Powell arrived at his church where he was set to take on the responsibilities of a youth pastor, he evaluated first before setting his foot at the office. He had a conversation with the outgoing youth pastor. He even studied the location of the church and talked to other youth pastors. There were lots of questions about what kind of program he was going to run. And since most of the people hate change, he kept on running the same kind of programs until he was finished with his evaluation. I mean, that's really a good process, no? Kapag either magsisimula, lalo na dun sa mga instances na kayo ay nagtitake over ng position. Siyempre, may mga nakasanayan na yung mga yan. So, pag ikaw yung leader na bago at magte-take over ka nang nasimulan na, so kailangan talagang aralin mo mabuti kung anong klaseng ministry na yun establish bago mo talaga siya pasukin. Next, he began to involve others in evaluation and vision process. He helped others to see the needs and opportunities, began to stir up a desire to see God do new things in the group. Then from there, pag done na yung evaluation, then you formulate your missions, your visions, ano yung gusto mo makita ang pagbabago, ayusin. Saka mo siya ngayon sasabihin sa kanila, then you will encourage them to own yung mga nakikita mong vision for the youth ministry. They all dreamt about what the ministry would be, but he was careful not to liken vision to a dream. Okay? A vision is not a dream. It is a future-oriented look at the conditions that God would like to develop in the ministry. Kaya, di ba, sabi ko kanina, it is actually the point of view ng Lord na gusto nating makita. Okay? Futuristic point of view ng Panginoon para dun sa mga kabataan natin sa church. It is not a wishful list or wishful thinking. It is seeing the ministry through God's eyes for what it can be or what it can do. Now, an example of vision statement would be to see the ministry or a ministry that reaches each youth at the level of their spiritual commitment, or to develop ministry that targets the particular needs of early and late adolescents through developing separate junior and senior high program. I mean, example lang naman yan. I think naman, sa mga kanya-kanya natin si Mami, mga kanya-kanya talaga tayong mga mission and visions. Just in case na wala ka, at least these are the basics na pwede nyo talaga matutunan when formulating your own vision para sa inyong youth group. Or even in your church, no? So again, yung vision, para lang malinaw, let's wrap it up. Vision is yung how God sees the youth ministry in the future. The things that He would like to change, the things that He would want to develop sa mga young people. Yun talaga yun. I mean, naiintindihan ko na may mga personal talaga tayong desires na gusto natin makita, gusto mabago sa mga young people natin sa church. Pero more than that, I mean, mahalaga yun, pero more than that, mas mahalaga pa rin talaga yung vision na nagmumula talaga sa Panginoon. Kasi with that, talagang masasabi natin na we are walking at the right path. Okay? Now, let's talk about the programs. Sabi dito, think people, not programs. It seems to be a well-known creed among youth pastors. It is a reaction against keeping that Sunday school program running after the students have graduated long ago. Now, dun sa kasabihan na to, no, sa Sunday school kasi, mas dominant talaga sa mga Sunday school head yung pag-iisip ng programs. Kasi madali lang naman i-please kahit pa paano ang mga bata. Okay? So parang when they turn to young people, pag nag-young people na sila, nagiging different talaga yung ano nila, yung point of view nila sa mga bagay-bagay. Saka mas, ayun na, sabi ko diba, mas reasonable na sila mag-isip. No, hindi na sila yung madaling utu-utuin. Kaya when they reach the young people age, yung mainstream ng young people, hindi na talaga siya totally nakafocus lang sa mga programs. More on, pag nag-iisip ka ng program, ang mas iniisip mo na yung mga young people mismo. Kasi sa bata, wala naman. Pag nag-iisip ka ng program na pwede talaga para sa mga bata, wala naman sila magagawa. I mean, they will follow, they will obey, they will participate naman no, sa program. Pero pag young people na, parang they will always have a choice no pag nakafocus ka lang sa program may choice sila no para hindi sumunod ganyan so malaking consideration pag nag-build tayo ng program o nagbubuo tayo ng program for young people is sila mismo okay interest hobbies mga behaviors no personalities and mga ganyang klaseng bagay. Hopefully, most churches are now attuned to the fact that good programming is responsive to the needs of the church and the community. See, that's why I tell you, talagang bukod sa sinabi natin before na holistic ang church, ang youth ministry, talagang it addresses yung mga needs na nakikita niya doon sa mga young people. Okay? Evaluation pa rin. So, pasok pa rin yan dyan, yung mga napag-usapan natin previously. Another one, find an itch and scratch it. It is also known as find the need and meet it. During the evaluation and vision setting process, it is essential to determine what the needs are. And from there, doon talaga bubuin yung mga programs, mga activities, no? Kailangan talaga intentional yung youth ministry natin. Hindi siya yung, ayun nga, hindi siya parang yung babysitting lang na nagpo-provide talaga ng happiness, entertainment. It should be somewhat may balance ng taskmaster na ina-address niya talaga kung ano yung kailangan ng mga young people, lalo na when it comes to their spirituality. Now, there was a time in Ron Paulo's church when there are lots of young people loitering around. They were too old for Sunday school and they felt they were too young for Sunday morning service. Hindi ko alam kung nagiging problem nga rin to sa church niya, no? Pero sa amin, nagiging problem namin to before. Yung mga nasa ages na 12, 13, yan yung mga edad na feeling nila, ayaw na nila mag-Sunday school kasi tatanda na sila, feeling nila. Pero ayaw naman nila umakyat sa taas kasi feeling nila masyado ba silang bata para. So, ang ginagawa, sila yung mga pakalat-kalat sa church, paikot-ikot. I mean, hindi ko lang ako na-experience ito. No? For most churches, talagang naghahanap sila ng tamang approach no? O paano nila aayusin yung dilemang yon no? Para sa mga ganong klaseng bata na parang nasa pagitan talaga ng transition. Now, there were a few options to meet this need. Una, ito yung mga nakita niyang possible na pwedeng gawin. Set up a program to help the parents learn how to get their kids to sit with them at church. Change the Sunday morning service to make it more appealing for them. Okay? Or last, develop a junior high program concurrent with the Sunday morning service. Ilang ang problema mo talaga sa mga ganito. Talagang additional trabaho talaga ito. Kaya, kailangan talaga ng wisdom when doing this. Sa amin sa church namin, hindi na kami ganong nahihirapan ngayon sa mga ganyang klaseng young people namin. Yung nagta-transition from Sunday school. Kasi yung Sunday school namin, they are part of the worship talaga. So, 9:40, nasa baba namin yung mga bata nag-iipon, nag-gather. Then, pagputak na 9:40 pala, akit sila. Tapos may isang side sila dun sa church namin, sa sanctuary, kung saan dun yung pwesto talaga nila. So, magsisimula kami sa prayer time, nakikipray yung mga bata, tahimik sila. Magsisimula yung service, kakanta sila. Pababa lang sila after talaga ng kantahan or kung may communion, after ng communion. So, they are part of the program. So, parang somewhat, hindi na sila naninibago dun sa ambience ng sanctuary namin sa taas, sa kanong program. Kaya pag sinabi namin na tapos na sila sa Sunday school, graduate na sila, parang automatic, they understand na they really need to go up na, no, at mag-participate na dun sa service na para sa young people. Although minsan, nahihirapan pa rin talaga sila. May tendency na bumababa pa rin sila, silip-silip. So, yon. Pero hindi na rin naman siya ganun nagiging dilemma for us. So, Mga ganong klaseng programs, kailangan talagang pag-isipan talaga siya mabuti yung approach natin sa kanila. Okay? So again, when we talk about programs, it is important na it is more of people-oriented talaga. I mean, hindi lang naman for entertainment It is actually to address the deeper needs more than the entertainment ng mga young people. Okay? So again, balik tayo sa una. We have this vision for the young people. You formulate programs for them para yun nga, ma-reach din yung vision na yun. Then lastly, let's talk about the goals. Goals are targets that give you something to aim for. Hindi siya totally kaparehas ng vision kasi yung vision talagang nakikita niya. Yung goal talaga, it is something na makikita mo talaga ma-accomplish right there and then. Now, even if you do not hit that center, you are at least headed in the right direction. Minsan bullseye, minsan hindi, pero malapit na ganun. One of the reasons that some leaders give up goal setting is the embarrassment of failing to meet the objective. Yun yung problem minsan ng mga youth leaders. Takot sila mag-set ng goals, takot sila magkaroon ng vision for young people because of the fear na mag-fail talaga. I mean, sino ba namang hindi takot or may embarrass o malulungkot kapag nag-fail? Pero that is actually part of the process talaga. Okay? Bahagi talaga yan ng youth ministry, hindi talaga pen. Saka wala namang youth ministry na tumayo ng perfect. Lahat naman dumaan talaga at a certain point na nag-fail at some time. Another reason is because they are not completely clear on what they wish to achieve. Mahirap to pag ganito ang youth leader, walang malinaw na vision or heart para sa mga kabataan. Now, this could be because they are operating without a vision for the ministry or they are unwilling to take the time to stop, think, pray, and plan. That's why, taon-taon, very important yung pagkakaroon talaga ng goal setting, ng plannings para sa young people. I mean, hindi lang naman sa young people. I mean, sa whole church itself and sa mga kanya-kanya mga departments. Kami sa church namin, gano'n kami after matapos ang isang fiscal year mag-gather kami by department and from there, saka namin po sasama-samahin lahat ng mga naplano namin para buuin yung calendar ng church. Good goals are not fuzzy. They are clear, recognizable, and realistic. Maliwanag, malinaw. Sabi dito, they should be mad. Ano yung mad? Sige, let's try to identify ano yung mad. First M is measurable. Your goal must be clear when they are achieved or missed. Na-hit ko ba? Hindi. Kapag malabo at di mo maintindihan kung natamaan mo o hindi siya measurable. Okay? Achievable. It can be accomplished in a specified amount of time. Achievable. Of course, hindi ka maglalagay ng mga goals na, alam mo yun, tinatawag nila suntok sa buwan or parang hindi talaga or very impossible talaga ma-achieve. Last one is dated. It has a specific start and end point. Meron nakikita mo kung kailan mo siya pwedeng simulan at meron talagang specific time kung kailan dapat siya ma-achieve. Okay, so again, these three, I don't say, again, a disclaimer, I don't say na ito yung pinakatamang paraan in setting goals. But at least, this is one of the most effective ways na pagsiset talaga ng goals. Your goals, again, should be measurable, achievable, and dated. Now, this kind of goals can be observed in progress. Nakikita mo talaga yung development yan eh. Now, fuzzy goals can sound very spiritual but are not very practical. Kaya mahirap maglagay talaga ng mga visions and goals na very vague. Ibig sabihin masyadong malawak. No, maganda talagang nagiging specific yung mga goals na nilalagay natin sa mga young people ministry natin. Writing goals, then posting them or publishing them will keep you accountable to accomplish them. Okay? It also helps you to set achievable goals rather than pipe dreams. Now, are there goals that you have for your life or ministry right now? Yeah, pag-isipan nyo nga saglit. Ako, marami akong mga goals and dreams, visions for myself, even for the ministries I'm handling right now. Now, sabi dito, why not write them out and post them? Kasi magandang reminder din yan pag nakikita mo siya, no? Kaya nasa notes ng phone, ginagawang desktop ng computer, ginagawang wallpaper ng cellphone, yung mga goals in life natin. I mean, iba rin kasi kapag meron kang constant reminder na nakikita na, ito nga pa rin yung goal ko. Okay? So, yon. So, ang goals is also connected dun sa dalawa. So, yung tatlong yan, ano yan interconnected yan. They work together para mag-work talaga ng strong youth ministry. You have the vision for the young people in your church. Then from there, you set your goals para maabot yung mga visions na yon. Then for you to be able to reach this specific goals, you create programs para maabot sila. Okay, so para silang domino. Once you hit one, talaga it will hit the others talaga. Okay? So, how's your youth ministry right now? Meron bang mga malinaw na goals? May malinaw bang vision ang mga youth leaders niyo, ang mga youth pastors, or kayo mismo kung kayo man ang nasa position ng youth leadership, may malinaw ba na vision galing kay Lord? Now, from those visions, how do you try to accomplish them? Ano yung mga goals na sinaset mo para maabot or mangyari, ma-develop mga visions na yun? Now, with this kind of goals that you have now for your youth ministry or your church, ano yung mga specific programs na ginagawa o ini-implement nyo ngayon sa church para maabot yung mga goals na yun? Okay? So, I hope that's today's session is a good reminder for us, good learning for us. No? Now, let me wrap this one up. A vision statement, purpose statement, programs, and goals are required to keep your youth groups on track, or else you will be lost talaga. Okay, for Fields, si Doug Fields, may sumulat ng PDYM, this means adhering to the 5 purposes of his church. Good programs and goals that carefully consider the faith development of the individual need to be established. Okay? So, highly focused talaga. Hindi dapat talaga i-neglect yung spirituality. It is also knowing what characteristics you want to develop in fully devoted teens and understanding where the majority are in their faith shaping process. So, ako in the life group that I'm handling, sabi ko nga sa inyo, uh, we've been a group for 3 years. Magpo-4 na kami sa January. And yun nga, taon-taon, kahit pa paano, nagsiset talaga ako ng iba't ibang klaseng goals kasi meron din akong iba't ibang klaseng vision na nakikita for them. I mean, like for this year, ang pinakita sa akin ng Panginoon for them to be is really evangelists, sharer ng gospel. Nung na ko yun sa heart ko at in-impress yun ni Lord sa heart ko, parang kailangan mag-set ako ng mga goals, no, kung paano ko sila matutulungan na maging paano sila matutulungan mag-share ng gospel talaga. So from once in a while, pag may mga meetings kami, no, may mga small group kami, either we discuss the topic na pinag-usapan sa service, then we try to relate it into sharing gospel, or I do teach them different kinds of methods when it comes to evangelism. Hindi pa siya fully developed, hindi pa talaga siya hit, paunti-unti na talagang ginagol namin siya. Yun din naman yung sinabi nga kanina, di ba, measurable, time-bounded. No? I have this whole year para hingin yung tulong ni Lord na i-workout yun for them. And hopefully talagang ma-develop. And minsan kahit naman na ituro na, it will take years of practice pa rin naman. Pero at least, what I'm trying to say is that kaya talaga basta nakakapag-set ng tamang mga visions, goals, and nakakapag-implement ng mga tamang programs. No? So, how much more sa mga young people natin sa church? You may feel that the responsibility of planning a year in youth ministry is overwhelming, but when there is a clear picture of the characteristics that you are hoping to develop in the young people, a clear vision for the ministry, and attainable goals, the process is much more manageable. Mas organized, mas smooth. I mean, hindi perfect, pero somewhat, alam mo may pinatutunguhan kapag really in line yung tatlong yun. Yung vision, yung goals, and yung programs. Okay? So for your task, your reflection paper number 7, una, 2 tanong lang naman. Pagpipilian nyo lang naman. Number 1, Looking at your own life, do you think you have clear visions and goals? Why yes or why no? Why not? So that's the first. Ay, hindi pala pipili. I think parehas yung kung sasagutin. And the second one, what are the programs that God is using right now to develop your life? Ano yung mga programs, mga gawain na ginagamit ng Lord, mga tao? We can consider them as program. I mean, ito pag-aaral nyo sa EPCP, pwedeng ito rin ay program ng Lord para sa inyo, para kayo ay develop spiritually. So, dalawang tanong yan na sasagutin nyo para sa ating reflection paper number 7. Okay? So, I hope you've learned something kahit na naka-asynchronous tayo. Gusto ko rin talaga sana na interactive. Pero, yeah. Nevertheless, I will see you next week for our midterm exam. Again, all our PowerPoints are in the group chat. So, I hope ma-download nyo and mabasa nyo lang. Just try to understand it with your heart. And for sure, you will be able to answer sa ating midterm exams. Okay? So God bless everyone, and I will see you next week.